I have been performing one of our duties at the SCP.
On Tuesday, the Deputy Speaker, Tayewbwa, tasked the Prime Minister, Nabanja, to develop a standard position on the Anti-Homosexuality Act to be disseminated by Uganda's missions abroad.
There is disjointed responses. Each embassy, for example, I've tried to get from around 3 ambassadors. All of them are giving their own statement. Because as a government, we have not come up with one very clear statement. We depend on what we hear the president saying, what we hear government officials saying. Here we use our technical office as parliament. We wrote foreign affairs to give us a statement to present in Brussels. You know, we had to end up crafting our own. You know, we need, I think, especially since it's being raised at the international level, we need a standardized statement for all our diplomatic missions so that all of them speak the same language.
The Deputy Speaker also asked the Prime Minister to give a statement on the matter of rampant DNA testing in the country within a week.
I think we need to guide the nation. Right, Honorable Prime Minister, you need to come out, you guide the nation. Because what is going on, you know, innocent children are falling victim. You know, you don't know what your parents were doing, you don't know whatever happened. All of a sudden, you see someone saying, stop using my name. Someone is saying, bring back your national ID. It bears my name, so I want to go and change it. And honorable colleagues, as you know, Ugandans are very sharp. Now, in every corner, you're going to have a DNA laboratory. So we want to know how is this regulated.
During the sitting, Parliament upped the number of High Court judges from the current 83 to 151 after agreeing with a motion by Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister, Honorable Norbert Mao, seeking to increase the number of judges.
83 trillion Uganda shillings is held up in our courts. These are based on trade disputes, construction disputes, money deposited by UNRWA due to disputes on compensation, insurance disputes, banking disputes, intellectual property disputes. Thousands of acres of land cannot be used because of injunctions based on disputes. There are also civil disputes that tie up trillions of shillings. Family courts have so many cases, and these have disabled economic activity. That is why the intention of government is to increase access to judicial services. These measures will deal with case backlog that continues to be a source of frustration to many citizens.
Parliament passed the Administration of Judiciary Act. That act enabled the government to increase the funding to the judiciary. And because the funding has increased, it is imperative that judicial officers be spread out so that the need for justice be achieved.
The Public Accounts Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises tasked Uganda Printing and Publishing Corporation to institute a board of directors as a prerequisite for good corporate governance.
Since the dismissal of the board of directors in August of 2021, there was no board at UPPC for nearly 2 years, in contravention of Section 6 of the UPPC Act that provides that there shall be a board of directors. As a result of the absence of the board, the roles that ought to be played by the board regarding overseeing the management of the corporation under Section 7 of the Act could not be executed, which adversely affected the performance of UPPC. The new board should institute a system of good corporate governance practices at the corporation, including instituting board committees, regular meetings, prudent financial and human resource management, among others.
I thought Parliament has a stake in approving these boards. But when we are delayed, when we don't get information about the intending board members, it also jeopardizes us in our role of oversight and monitoring the performance of some of these parastatals.
Also in the sitting, The first Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Community Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, urged legislators to embrace and participate in the second East African Kiswahili Language Day.
Article 62 of our Constitution stipulates that Kiswahili is the second official language, but we have never actually actualized it. Article 137 of the Treaty for the ESC states that Kiswahili should be the lingua franca of the East African community.
I was happy, hopeful that after 1 year, personally, I would be debating here in Kiswahili. Now we are celebrating, it appears that plan has not been rolled out. Can we understand what is required so that Parliament can support that plan?
On Wednesday, 5th July 2023, the chairperson of the Committee on Health told Parliament that the unpredictable increase in the number of medical interns and senior house officers was a reason for budget shortfalls in their remuneration.
Due to liberalization of the education sector, including health education, the number of health training institutions has increased. Similarly, the number of medical interns has grown from 965 in 2016 to 1,690 in 2022 and has reached 1,901 in 2023. The committee was informed that in comparison with financial year 22-23, there is a reduction in the budget for allowances of medical interns and SHOs by 40.9 billion. The committee observes that the allocated funds can only run the internship program for 1 month. Failure to provide funds for medical interns and senior house officers will worsen the already dire situation in the health sector.
But if it is not possible to pay the interns 2.5 million, that was a presidential directive. As a way forward, let the ministries review and pay the interns what they can afford so that the interns can complete. Otherwise, as we speak now, other students are graduating, Right Honorable Speaker.
There has been this school of thought that could we maybe give a ceiling to each university. For instance, we say Makerere University, please educate 200 each year, or maybe 20 doctors. No, I am just explaining, it's not there. All universities are taking people, they are training doctors as and when they have them. There is no ceiling that has been given. It's not there. Now, without having this ceiling, the numbers may triple in the next 3-4 years. We need to be prepared to handle these numbers.
In the sitting, Parliament directed the Ministry of Health to settle a debt of 31.4 billion shillings owed to the national medical stores.
The Ministry of Health is the biggest debtor to national medical stores at 31.4 billion shillings, followed by CDC project at 8.9 billion. According to NMS, efforts to have these funds recovered have been futile. The accounting officer of the Ministry of Health, in conjunction with the Ministry of Finance, should settle all the outstanding areas to NMS within 6 months from the date of adoption of this report.
Why should health get money from finance and then they refuse to give money to NMS to procure drugs? Then again, we are going to go back to amend the law that they should get their money directly, but they are supervised by Ministry of Health.
Also in the sitting, lawmakers proposed the establishment of separate cells for inmates who are HIV positive in order to prevent the spread of the virus within the detention facilities.
There were also cases, Right Honorable Speaker, allegations of men having sex with men, that is homosexuality taking place in prisons. And Right Honorable Speaker, when we interacted with the commissioner in charge of prisons, they never denied, neither confirmed.
The fact of the matter is that no single administrator of a prison would admit that the other vice was happening or it was taking place. But after further engagements, yes, with inmates in prisons, you'd find them admitting in one way or another that it happens as a result of congestion in the prisons.
Is it possible, for example, for all the prisoners to be subjected to testing so that those who have are separated from those who don't have? I know that one may be coupled with the stigma
But also, first listen to me, colleagues. First think about this person who is an inmate who has gone when he's HIV negative, and he gets out when he's HIV positive.
On Thursday, 6th July 2023, the Public Accounts Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises tasked the National Water and Sewerage Corporation to expedite investigations into complaints about inflated water bills.
The committee got complaints from members of the general public about inflated costs. The complaints were that National Water and Sewerage Corporation estimates their bills and charges exorbitantly without proper justification, saying that in some months the water bills are extremely high, yet there has been no charge in the amounts of water they consume. The accounting officer informed the committee that they too have got similar complaints from the public over time, but said they had not detected any wrongdoing on their part, and that some of the high bills could be as a result of pipe leakages. He, however, indicated that the corporation was embarking on internal investigations to be sure there are no mistakes or wrongdoing by their staff in this respect.
The issue of having bills which cannot be trusted by customers was the same problem with Ayume until they made until they introduced the system of Yaka, which is digital. And because this corporation is not competing with any other, we might not encourage them to be proactive. So I propose that the minister in charge should look at bringing the digital component of bidding in the same organization.
During the sitting, the Prime Minister, Nabanja, clarified that there is no provision for government to provide mobile phones to beneficiaries of the parish development model.
All PDM beneficiaries are required to have bank accounts, mobile money accounts, or use urgent banking where a person is given a token from the circle and pays through a banking agent. Therefore, there is no arrangement of providing PDM beneficiaries with phones from government.
Also in the sitting, the State Minister for Trade, Honorable Harriet Ntavazi, said the presidents of Uganda and South Sudan have intervened in a maize row that had threatened to ruin relations between the two countries.
Our head of state has been engaged and he has taken a step, communicated to the president of South Sudan, and they've agreed that all the trucks that are at the border, that are deep in their country, be brought in the no man's land. 2 teams be set, one from South Sudan and another one from Uganda, to go and witness a verified committee from the East African community, which is going to carry out the verification in that area. And the exercise is going to begin tomorrow. And I want to tell you that I will come back and give you a report after thorough investigation has been done.
House adjourned to Tuesday at 2 p.m.